All right, let's just cut right to it. We need to talk about something that's been wired into us for years. This idea that a quick temper, a fast reaction, is some kind of strength. But what if that's all wrong? What if it's actually the complete opposite?
I mean, really think about that. If some random person in traffic or a comment online, or even just the tone in a coworker's voice can instantly hijack your whole emotional state, who's really holding the leash? That's not power. That's a vulnerability. It's just a reflex. And if you can't control it, you don't own it.
So where does this stuff even come from? Well, for most of us, it's not really ours. We were handed a script when we were young. A kind of social programming that basically told us exactly how to respond when we feel disrespected.
And the script was super simple, right? Somebody steps to you, you respond immediately. Someone calls you out, you fire back but harder. Any hesitation and you looked weak. The problem is, what we learned as a way to protect ourselves is really just a program running in the background, and anyone who knows how that program works can use it against you.
And you know exactly where this programming was installed. Think about it. The school hallways, the locker room, anywhere that your social status felt like a survival game. The rule was clear: escalate or get stepped on. So you adapted. Your nervous system got fast, your tongue got sharp, your temper got short, because honestly, it worked back then. But here's the thing we gotta understand.
And this is the trap, right here. That same armor you built to protect yourself becomes a cage later in life. The very things that made you feel safe at 15, the fast temper, the sharp tongue, they just make you predictable and vulnerable at 35. Those big reactions don't make you look powerful anymore. They just make you look reactive. And if someone knows your triggers, well, they own you. They know exactly which buttons to push.
But that reflex, man, it comes with a long-term price tag. It's so much more than just one bad moment. Every time you have that impulsive, angry outburst, you're just digging that pathway in your brain a little deeper. It creates this loop. You get triggered, you explode, and then you get this temporary, almost addictive feeling of relief. But what's the real bill for that quick fix?
And trust me, the bill adds up. You can see it right here. It's heavy. It's the strained relationships, to the point where people feel like they're walking on eggshells around you. It's that invisible ceiling you hit in your career because nobody wants to promote a live wire. But maybe worst of all, it's just exhausting. Your nervous system is always revved up, always ready for a fight, and carrying that weight day in and day out will grind you into dust.
Okay, so let's get into the good stuff, because this is the most important part. How do you actually break the cycle? This isn't about just letting it go. This is about taking back command. We're going to go through 2 incredibly practical, no-nonsense tools to do exactly that.
The first tool is what I call the 4-6 reset. And I want to be crystal clear, this is not some fluffy, just breathe advice. This is a physical, mechanical intervention. When you feel that anger rising, your body is flooding with fight or flight chemicals. By deliberately making your exhale longer than your inhale, you are activating your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest part of you. You are literally, physically hitting the brakes on the anger chemistry. You're not meditating, you're taking manual control of your own engine.
And the mechanics of it are incredibly simple. Just an inhale through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a slow, controlled exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That longer exhale, that's the whole key. Do that 5 times. Seriously, that's it. That's all it takes to stop that chemical cascade in its tracks and give the rational part of your brain, the part you want driving, a chance to get back online.
Now, the second tool is the 90-second discipline, and this right here is what separates the men from the boys, emotionally speaking. When that wave of anger hits your programming, your ego, it screams at you to react right now. This discipline is about denying that impulse. It's about doing nothing. You create a deliberate gap of silence, and for a lot of us, that silence is deafening because our ego is screaming that we're losing. But you're not losing. You're repositioning. It's strategy.
Just 90 seconds. There's real science to this. Neuroscientists say that's about how long it takes for the emotional chemicals of a reaction to flood your system and then just wash out. So for 90 seconds, you don't send the text. You don't fire off that sarcastic email. You don't even change your posture to show you're mad. You just hold the line. In that little gap, the emotional wave peaks, and then it crashes. And when it's gone, you are back in control. You get to choose your response instead of just being a puppet for it.
And in that space, that little 90-second gap you just created for yourself, you ask this one question. This changes everything. You stop asking, how do I win this? Or how do I prove I'm not weak? Instead, you ask,
What does the controlled version of me do right now? It shifts your entire focus from defending a fragile ego to building a strong character.
And that question leads us to the real long-term fix. See, you can't just fight anger with willpower forever. You'll burn out. The real way you manage it is by changing your identity first. You decide who you are, and your actions and emotions just fall in line.
So, it really boils down to this choice. A choice of identity. Are you the guy whose whole identity is, I never let anything slide? The guy who's basically a walking tripwire for any minor offense? Or are you the man who operates from the identity that, I cannot be moved by nonsense? When you truly adopt that second identity, that solid, unmovable stance, your emotional reactions have no choice but to follow.
See, here's the secret sauce. You don't wait until you feel calm to act calm. That's backwards. You adopt the stance of a calm, controlled person first. You act like the person you're determined to become. And your emotions, they'll eventually catch up. Identity always leads, emotion follows.
So all of this is building toward a totally new and frankly more effective definition of what strength even is. We were taught that strength is loud and explosive. It's not. Real power is quiet. It's deliberate. It's having complete composure when everyone around you is losing theirs.
And when someone tries to bait you, when they expect a big reaction, and all they get from you is calm, steady composure, it messes with them. It creates this psychological imbalance, because it shows them, in no uncertain terms, that they have zero power over your internal state. And that's far more unsettling to them than yelling ever could be.
Think about that for a second. Real, solid self-respect doesn't need to scream and shout to prove itself at every little challenge. It's the insecure person who has to react to every single slight. Real pride is quiet. It's stable. It knows what it's worth without needing to constantly prove it to everyone else.
So I'll just leave you with this question. If your inner sense of calm is so fragile that a slow driver, a dumb comment, or a bad day at work can completely shatter it, was it ever really yours to begin with? The goal isn't to become some untouchable robot. The goal is to own your own state no matter what's happening on the outside. That is real strength.